Rightio, so if you watched my last video, you'd see that, yeah, all the paint is done. We got a closed door respray done by a mate of mine at Paintworks, and now it's time to show you what I did with the engine and what engine it is and what I put in there, and yeah, that it's now turbo. It's a natural aspirated BF XR6, and after that we're going to do this. Alright, so first thing we'll do is get rid of this FG windage tray, because we have to put on the B series one. So that's what we're going to do right now. So with that removed, now we can get to our bung. So the oil dipsticks, right? So B series is here, right near the oil filter, and FG is down here. Now there's an open hole there. So what we need to do is punch this bung out, and hopefully it just goes in there. And there we have it. See how that looks. Only really thing to remember is dipstick hole, line them up. Doesn't get much simpler than that. So make sure there's nothing crazy going on. Bit of cat air. Next thing we're going to do is face the block so that we can get this head on. So now we have a hole here, and we need to get our bung in there. So here's our bung, and it just basically just, yeah, it fits in there. So I don't really know how to do it, except we're going to just tilt the motor up like that and get my punch and just oh yeah, check that shit out. Rightio, so there we go. We have our bung plugging up our hole, and we have our B series location for the dipstick. Straight through to the oil when there's oil there. That is, there's no sun as we know yet. Alright. Rightio, next step, let's face this block, eh? Alright, it's inspection time. So what we'll do is give her a little cleaner. Rightio, so the main thing I do is just clean it up so that, see that ring, there's that clear ring around the cylinder. You want that to be spotless because the fire ring on the MLS gasket has to seal there. So that's all I really do, is just sand it until you get it pretty well bang on. It's yeah, maybe number one cylinder could use a bit more work, as you can see there. Focus. Yeah, there's a little bit of how you're going. It's not too bad, but see there, came up really well in between those two. Nice and clean. Cool, so that's pretty much done, because I've got an MLS and I got copper gasket spray as well. So so now it's time to decarbon the cylinders. Alright, I got the pistons all at, well, below the top, as you can see here. It's the gap. So what I'm going to do now is just, see that black ring of, well, I like to call it shit. Black ring of shit. I'm going to decarbon all these. Make sure you wear eye protection, because last thing I want is one of these little guys in your eyeball. So make sure you suit up. Rightio, so I clean this cylinder up. Let's have a look. That's the difference. No more carbon build up at the top. And so next thing we'll do is the pistons. Righto, there we go. Now have a look how happy it is. So much happier than the other ones. Oh, sad faces. Happy face. So yeah, just run along and do them to every piston. And then we are just about ready to, well, put this tripod back. We're just about ready to put our head on. Smooth. It's time to put our oil pump on. So what I did was, I got the guy, mate of mine who did the head, to put some oil pump gears in, and he petroleum jellied it and chucked the, look, it's so clean in there. Put the some billet XR6 Turbo Developments billet oil pump gears in our oil pump. So let's whack this bad boy on. Just got to line the gears up with the spline on the snout of the crank. Once you've done that, you just got to bolt it. So one thing I did and I recommend is don't skimp out. Just get a new O-ring from Ford. This is for the oil pickup. And I just dropped it. So here's our oil pickup, and if I can get this into the right position, and our new oil O-ring goes on here, like so. Alright, so our block is ready for the head. We've brake cleaned the absolute guts out of it. As you can see, it's very dirty, but that's okay. It's not dirty, it's just rusty. It's clean because I've prepped it all. It's just rusty and dry from the degreaser and wire brush and brake cleaner. But our head surface is ready to go. And then we come to the bling part. We have a freshly machined FG head. Just got it completely checked over, vacuum tested, got it all sandblasted. You can see the ports. No carbon anywhere. Fresh as everywhere. And obviously faced. And we've got some performance springs on the other side, which I'll show you later, supplied by Gobby's Parts. So yeah, we'll and then we've got our 1.3 mil like decompression MLS head gasket here. I've hung it up because we've got to copper spray it, so we're going to do that now. So now it's time for the head bolts. So just getting some assembly lube and basically putting a bit down the hole and where the actual head of the bolt goes. Oh shit, bro. Fucking break. So that's our head on, so you can just have a look at your head. Everything's looking good. It's all our head bolts done up, and there's our performance springs, new valve stem seals, and a vacuum test. Look how good those ports look. Not ported, nothing, it's just all stock, it's just for longevity. So keep running into shit, Scott. Now we've got our cams, we've got our timing marks done up, we've got our brand new timing guides, 1, 2, 3, and we have our marks on our camshaft. So oh my god, marks on our camshaft.
timing chain. So the red one lines up with that one. Then under there you've got that one which lines up with the bottom one, as you can see. So all that's done up, and the timing chain is just sitting there at the moment because I forgot that you have to put this guide on first, the one that's hooked up to the that's where the timing chain tensioner goes. You've got to put that one on first, otherwise it just won't go, because the reluctor wheel, yeah, it just won't let it go in. So you do that one first, then you line the timing chain up, then you put this guide on, and then it all just goes from there basically. So next thing I'm going to do is change the front main seal, which is not hard. Just get some sort of leverage device and lever it out. Usually comes out pretty easily most of the time, like so. Got our new one. Make sure it fits. Cool. Then I just get a little bit of grease. Get a little bit of grease around the outside. And you just push it in. I always just get a bit of grease on the inside as well, because there's not going to be any oil pressure straight away. So then next thing I'm going to do is get this siliconed up, ready to go back on the motor. This is all clean. I just got to give the motor a clean and then, yeah, silicon her up. So that's looking pretty good. And then on the block, you just want to make sure that you've got these two spots here, just to splash there and there. And we'll get this on now. Get it on. Make sure you don't hit the water pump on the way through. Righto, so once I had the dowels on the right side, they went in nicely. Whoops. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes. So all I do is just get this seated just up against both surfaces. And that's located for the reluctor wheel that's behind there. Alright, so you just want to get them nipped up and then wait till it dries. I usually wait, I don't know, half an hour, whatever, however long it takes to do the sump. And then, yeah, do them up nice and tight. Right, yeah, it's time to get the sump ready to go on. So we got some bits from Ford again. We got some half moons for the sump. One and two. And then these just go at either end. This one's got a little 90-degree out of it. That just goes into the front of the sump. Like so. Back one's the same. Well, it's not the same, but it's similar. You just push it in. And then we're going to silicone it up. Once again, it's just a couple of places that you have to put a little bit of silicone just to ensure there's no leaks. Where the timing cover joins the block, and where the rear main cap meets the block as well. There's a gap there. Bit there, bit there. Righto, a heap of progress has gone on. I didn't bother filming it all because it's just too much of a little fiddly crap to do. Like this sensor, just got to put the bolt in. We've got the engine mount holders on, new oil filter half filled with oil, aircon pump bracket, the thermostat housing and brand new thermostat and gasket is on. We've got our oil feed line for the turbo. The fittings are just chilling there. The one in the block is executed. I have had that for about probably 8 years in a drawer inside, so I'm like, oh, I might use it on this one, seeing as I'm using the standard oil feed line. I just took the little filter out. As you can see, it's hollow inside because the little filter in there is what clogs up and kills your turbo. And we've got our oil, I'm pretty sure that's oil temp, and then the oil pressure one goes on the end there. What else? Got them timing cover is buttoned up, sump's buttoned up. Got our crank angle sensor in there. Got our alternator bracket on the front, back alternator bracket, power steering bracket. The water pump just quickly tapped. You got to tap that. It's a brand new water pump, so just got to tap that fitting for the water line to go in. And that water line is fitted. This one is fitted, the engine mount holder. Can't fit the other one because it fouls on here. It hits on there as it sort of wants to go past there, so I don't think I can fit that water line yet. But what I did want to show you is the knock sensor location. So these right here on your inlet side, you've got your two knock sensors. Now I've painted the block, so next step is we just got to basically sand that back, and then yeah, we can fit the knock sensors to this side of the motor. Right, so after sanding for about 5 seconds, I realised you're an idiot, and I just used my wire wheel. So they came up, yeah, real nice. There's our knock sensors and bolts, and just gonna whack them in. Alright, so we're ready to go back in the car. I didn't film a few things I've done just because I basically couldn't be bothered. But yeah, we've got the balancer on. We've got our wiring loom is in place. Map sensor, it's the original non-turbo BF map sensor, just so I can get it running and start it. We've got our oil temp sensor. We've got to put the oil pressure sensor in, but got to put the oil feed line on first. Got a new filter, half full of oil. We've just replaced the rear main seal and put the sandwich plate on, and just did the flex plate bolts. Best way to do it is just have someone else. Got jack handle on the balancer bolt, and then use my breaker bar to do the flex plate bolts up, and just absolutely covered them in Loctite. Seems to be the only way that they don't come undone when you got moderate sort of horsepower. And got our waterline on. Yep, done engine mounts. Did the engine mounts, got the new engine mounts on there where they have to go. So all I really got to do is jack the car up a bit, get it on stands, then support the gearbox with the jack, and then we can get it in. Alright, so a quick update. We have the motor in, as you can see. Tupper cover's on, everything's buttoned up. Oil filter. We've bolted it. Got our bell housing bolts in. Converter bolts are in. Starter motor's in. Engine mounts are all buttoned up. And yeah, now I'm just basically doing the hot side. So found a good gasket I had laying around. We've got our turbo manifold, we've got our turbo, got our brand new studs going in. We've got our brand new wastegate actuator, which has just gone off to get some nuts because I forgot to get nuts for it. So gonna bolt that on, then I can put the oil and water lines on, and then we can bolt it up, then bolt the dump pipe up and put the rest of the exhaust on. Alright, here we go. We've got our studs, turbo to manifold are done up. We've got our wastegate actuator on with the nuts all done. We've got our oil return line done. New gasket in there. So, and then we've got a little circlip in there. So yeah, I've just gone and given the face a bit of a clean on the manifold, and all I'm going to do now is just get the two water lines on and just keep them loose, but just going to have them there so that when we chuck the manifold on, that they're already there ready to go. Righto, so when you're doing something like this, one of the big milestones is getting oil pressure for the first time, and I just did that. I've cleaned it up, but you can see the oil around there. Just got oil in it, made sure everything was safe, got the battery on, put the alternator on just so I could hook the electrical side of it up. Obviously the starter motor's hooked up, wiring's done, and that was it. And it's fuel pump fuse is out, and just get oil in it and wind it over until it comes out somewhere. So I just cracked the oil feed line as soon as it started coming out there, as you can see on the ground. Stop, tighten it up, and then I wind it over for about a minute. This obviously it's got no plugs in it, so it's got no compression. Easiest way to do it, just turns over nice and freely. And we've got oil pressure now, so when I get some more time, I'm going to basically just get it ready to start. Obviously it needs plugs, it needs throttle body, just needs all the little stuff. I won't even put the belt on, I'll just basically start it to make sure that it's all good. But compression looked good, even though there's no plugs. You could see like the tape was pulsating, and even this plug was going up and down, up and down. So everything's looking good so far. Alright guys, here we are. We are at that point. I did go ahead and do a few things, as you can probably see, but we're ready for first startup. So yeah, I think I've pretty much gone over everything. I think I've pretty much got everything ready to go. It's got oil pressure, as you saw. So yeah, we're just gonna start up, see what happens. Alright, here we are. I just want to start out by apologising for not recording a lot of things, but sometimes I just get in that mood where I just gotta get shit done, and I CBF'd setting anything up to record. So, but anyway, here we are. We have basically got it ready for the dyno now. So I'll just run through everything. We've picked up some heat shields, painted them. Yeah, the full exhaust is on, the heater hoses are on. Somehow I had this brass fitting laying in the shed that I've had for many years, so that was cool. That came in handy. Got our turbo wastegate actuator, got our under battery intake. There's a K&N, picked them up. Well, picked the pipes up second hand, got a new filter. Got our FG F6 intercooler mounted. Just used some, I had this like stainless flat bar from another, like a trans cooler I think it was, that we didn't use, so just cut that up and mounted it everywhere. All four corners are mounted up, and it's solid as, and it's crazy how it just clears everything. It clears down there, clears down there, clears the NA power steering cooler. And then it was just about getting some intercooler pipes sorted out. So what I did was I got the Plasma Man hot side, and all that fit pretty well, except for here where there was, it just wouldn't match up. It sort of curled around too much and hugs that radiator support too much. So just got got Brendan to help me with that. He cut that pipe in half and then put a new bevel on it so that I could get it to the right angle, and then the 45 coming off suited nicely. And then the cold side is just your Plasma Man 3-inch pipe that comes all the way down to there. I already had that black piece of 45, so that was cool, because the other one's blue, as you can see. This one's blue, but it'll be behind the front bar anyway, so you won't see it. And then there's a little alloy joiner in there, and then that's sorted out. And then basically I just need a boost controller. That's the vacuum lines for the wastegate actuator, and then the boost reference, which is down underneath there. I don't know if you can see it, but and then I've got our new header tank, got coolant. And the crazy thing was you'll see that I put the cams in the wrong way, so I sorted that out. But there's not a leak, there's not a drop under this thing. I haven't touched anything. It's just crazy that everything went together with all the new pipes and etc, and there was not one leak anywhere. So yeah, I don't know what you guys reckon, but I reckon it looks freaking awesome. So yeah, it runs, drives. Now we've sorted out the back brakes. The back brakes didn't work at all. So the Mrs. Dad came around and we cut the flattened brake line pieces out and put joined them all up again. So, and then bled all the brakes. So all the brakes work properly now. So She doesn't look the part yet, but yeah, it runs and drives. That's the main thing. So yeah, it's pretty happy with the way everything's turned out. I'm hoping that the fog lights don't hit on any of the intercooler pipes, but I think the only issue is going to be this bit here, but it is a bit flexible, so hopefully that works. And maybe I just got to put a bit of rubber behind it or something, but yeah, there we go. We are looking good. Standard exhaust is definitely not loud enough, but what do you do, eh? There we go, guys. So won't be long and we'll see some numbers, hopefully just around that. I'm going for that 360 horsepower with this NAZF. Hopefully that holds up to that much power. I think it will if I drive it right, not try and race everyone off the lights and break the input shaft or something like that. But anyway, that's a recap for now, and yeah, I'll take you through the rest of the journey, see what we end up with.